ดีค่ะอีฟค่ะ
ส้มค่ะวันนี้เราจะพาท่านผู้ชมไปชมอะไรบ้างคะอีฟ
ค่ะสำหรับวันนี้นะคะเราก็จะพาท่านผู้ชมไปชมการผลิตส่วนประกอบของกลองค่ะว่าส่วนประกอบของกลองนั้นมีอะไรบ้างเช่นสแนร์ดัมเบสดัมแล้วก็ทอมค่ะเดี๋ยวเราไปชมคลิปกันเลยนะคะส้ม
ไปกันเลยค่ะ
Almost every culture has used drums in some way. Drums have been a part of different civilizations for thousands of years. The earliest drum shells were hollowed out logs or gourds. Different sizes created different sounds. Today, drum shells are more sophisticated and consistent. To make drum shells, they slice an enormous rock maple log into several boards. Maple is ideal for making drum shells because its hardness allows sound to resonate fully. Each of these maple boards will be transformed into one drum shell. Workers feed the boards to a ripsaw, which cuts them to the correct width. This varies depending on the size of the drum being made. Then each board goes into a planer, which shaves it thinner. A worker aligns the board with markings on a saw table. This positions the board to be cut to the correct length. A radial arm saw does the job neatly. Now he sizes up each board in preparation for tapering. He places a board on an angle in a jig, and then moves the end against a router cutter to taper it. It takes a few passes to get it just right. The taper needs to be about 6 inches long. He thins the other end of the board to the same dimension. These tapered ends will make it easier to bend the wood into a drum shape later. They'll also act as scarf joints, which will fasten the ends of the board together when it's bent round. But first, this board needs some softening up. An hour in the steam box does the trick. It's pliable enough to wind around a hot cylindrical form. Steel banding secures the board to the bending form where it will spend 10 to 15 minutes. A worker pries apart the ends and applies a generous amount of glue between the taper tips. Then he removes the shim that was holding the ends apart so that they stick together. He places a wooden guard over the glue joint. This nylon mesh band is a clamp. He wraps it around the drum shell and turns a screw to pull the band tightly around the wood until it reaches 14 inches in diameter. Then he fastens over a dozen steel clamps onto the joint. All these clamps will prevent any gaps from occurring in the joint as the glue sets overnight. With the joint sealed, the drum shell now spins, while a cutter shaves down the edges to make it a true round shell. Then they bring in another cutter. It bores into the shell, making a smooth edge and rounding the inside. He turns the drum shell around to cut it from another angle. As the shell spins, a high-speed cutter shaves the outside from top to bottom. This makes the surface very smooth. It takes about a week to make a drum shell from solid wood, and it will be able to stand up to some loud playing.
สวัสดีครับผมกบบิ๊กแอสครับวันนี้ก็เลี้ยวรถผิดครับแล้วก็หลุดเข้ามาร้านไม่น่าหลุดเลยครับมาทีไรเสียเงินทุกทีครับวันนี้เสียงดีมากครับ O4 ครับผมเป็นแฟน O4 แล้วก็ใครสนใจก็มาทดลองเคาะดูได้แต่ว่าใบนี้ผมซื้อไปแล้วเสียใจด้วยจบข่าว
เป็นไงบ้างคะส้มสำหรับการผลิตกลองของทางร้านเรา
โหสุดยอดมากเลยค่ะอีฟ
ใช่ค่ะนอกจากการผลิตกลองของทางร้านเราแล้วนะคะ เรายังมีการผลิตฉาบด้วยค่ะส้ม
ค่ะซึ่งฉาบของทางร้านเรานะคะผลิตจากประเทศอเมริกาซึ่งมีขนาด 14 นิ้ว 16 นิ้ว 18 นิ้ว 22 นิ้วและอีกมากมายค่ะเพื่อไม่ให้เป็นการเสียเวลานะคะเดี๋ยวเราไปรับชมวิดีโอการผลิตฉาบของทางร้านเรากันเลยค่ะ
ไปกันเลยค่ะ
People have been crashing cymbals for centuries. History tells us that cymbals were used in Israel in 1100 BC. Over the centuries, the finest cymbals have been manufactured in Turkey with a secret method for blending metals. And those time-honored techniques still resound in cymbal making today. Cymbals play an important role in today's music making. Each cymbal has its own character, resulting in subtle differences in tone. To make cymbals, they start with castings. In this case, they're made of a secret blend of copper, tin, and trace amounts of silver. A worker sorts them by weight. Then a moving tray that's powered hydraulically takes them to a rotary oven. 1500 degrees Fahrenheit softens the castings, and then workers shovel them into a rolling mill. It squeezes them between two big metal cylinders, and the effect is the same as rolling out pie crust. The castings become thinner, flatter, and larger. These castings go through a heating and rolling cycle up to 12 times, depending on the type of cymbal being made. The repeated heating and cross-rolling creates a dense, interlocking weave in the granular structure of the alloy. It will make the cymbal strong enough to take a real beating. The interlocking weave will also help transmit sound waves more rapidly across the cymbal. After the cymbal has been tempered and pressed into its final shape, they place it on a spindle. While it spins, circular cutters shear the edges to a set diameter. Next, the cymbal is pounded. A hydraulic engine powers this hammering cylinder, and a computer program directs the force. These impressions will enrich the cymbal's sound by changing the path of the sound waves. Next, the application of tonal grooves. This craftsman puts the cymbal on a lathe, bottom side forward. The cymbal spins on an axle while the lathing blade cuts into it. He starts with a handheld lathing tool and then switches to one that's mounted on the machine. Lathing removes the symbol's outer layer and carves those important tonal grooves into it. The depth and position will vary depending on the type of symbol being produced. He lays the top of the symbol entirely by hand so he can better control the amount of pressure applied. Watch those fingers. Don't worry, he knows what he's doing. He's honed his skills over 5 years of apprenticeship, and no automatic machine can duplicate the fine touch of an experienced symbol craftsman. Now he removes the newly grooved symbol and puts it on an edging machine. A big round metal clamp locks the symbol in place. It spins while a cutting tool smooths out the edge of the symbol. Here's a before and after shot. The ragged rim is before edging. The smoother one at the bottom is after. This guy has the best job. He's in charge of quality assurance. That means he tests each symbol before it's sent out into the marketplace. He's listening for a range of sounds. Now, a laser etches the trademark into the symbol. It also engraves a unique serial number. Next, a silicone pad sponges up ink from a print plate and transfers it to the symbol. Now that the company logo is on, it's ready for shipping anywhere in the world. But this rough metal casting has already come a long way. It's been transformed into a smooth, sleek symbol over a total of 21 days.